Today's going to be difficult. We like to get into this segment a little bit, so I have my choice today. I brought in some hot coffee, and then Russ just hooked me up with some cold water. So we're going to try for the next 27 minutes. If we make it that long, a little mixology here. When we did the show last week, there's nothing worse when it plays back and you get a call from the RAF who insinuates that you're not that intelligent. Wow, that hurts big time. So what do? You can either run and hide behind a rock, or what do they say? Knowledge is power. Guess who's got the power back? How'd I do? I am so in to this Greenwich team up in Connecticut. I think they are flat out spectacular. I love the fact that my man Decker Curran got the game winner in the 4-overtime 8-7 thriller against Ridgefield. And then I said in this little segment last week, watch out, Greenwich, because Johnny Weissman's Wilton team, they're going to find their way. They're in a terrible stretch right now of just playing the best teams around the area. They'll figure it out, but they didn't against Greenwich. The Cardinals have great balance. They rolled the Warriors 18-7. Raffy, apologize.
You won the game. Big deal. That pick was a piece of cake.
Okay. Wow. Yesterday on the show, if you saw the girls' top 20, Raff's beautiful girlfriend, Lauren, who were questioning her knowledge every week for being with this clown, he forgot to bring us the cake that she made. Darien Manhasset, Billy Cherry let me have it. He said, how can you pick against us, Mike? I said, Billy, I'm a Connecticut guy. I like the blue wave. And Braemeyer's guys and Lindsay and the boys, they are rolling. They come from behind to beat the Indians by 3.
You won the game. Big deal. That kid.
Russ, why do we let this guy on? Garden City, Ridgefield. Cherry also brought up to me, not only did you pick against me, you picked against our other buddy, Fennell. I just worried about Garden City's ability to score goals. And when you play that Ridgefield team winning in the goal and that terrific defense, it's hard to score even if you're a good team. The Trojans went scoreless in the first half. They got 5 in the second half, but they still lost by 2.
You're such a homer for Connecticut lacrosse.
Home of champions! For now, did you see the Tri-State top 20? 6 through 9, all from the Nutmeg State, which makes my job a little easier, where I don't have to drive all over God's creation. Out in Nassau County, had a little conversation with my man Patty McCabe this morning. Asked me how I was feeling, and I said about the same way you feel after working games with Cavallo every week. Lousy! I like this Massapequa team to go far. Burns is on fire. They rolled a once-beaten Wantagh team. If you're counting at home, knowledge is power. 4-0.
I have no words. I'm too busy eating Lauren's wonderful cake.
Yeah, that's because you were so terrified yesterday when you forgot to give it to us on the show. That's called makeup cake. Smithtown East, Port Washington. Russ said to me I was foolish to pick this game. It was a layup for Smithtown East. I said, watch out. Port Washington scores a lot of goals. So does my man Willits. He had 6 in the game. Smithtown West, a field goal better than Port Washington. The count continues.
That was good. Not great, but good.
Pal, that was on Long Island too, out in Suffolk County. Stay in Suffolk County. Miller Place, Dylan's guy out there at Miller Place getting all over us, sends us a beautiful email last week. That was a kiss-up email, big time. He had been killing Butler all year. All of a sudden we say a couple nice things about him and the Miller Place team and the great coach Lizzie, and he's our best friend. But it doesn't matter. I don't pick with what my friends want me to do. I pick with knowledge. More power. Hopog, Zelen, Naraki and the boys win by 4.
Nice little winning streak. Maybe you should get sick more often.
I do every Tuesday when we do the girls' top 20. Okay. Oh, that's a good cue, Raph. Mountain Lakes, Del Barton. Last year, Mountain Lakes lost to Del Barton 9-1. Del Barton's been dominating Mountain Lakes. They won 7 of the last 8 after this 12-11 victory. And my Lakers go down, and so do I.
Why in the world would you ever pick against Del Barton?
Well, that's a fair question, and Connor Mackey made me pay the Yale-bound stud game winner with 4 seconds left, his only goal of the game. And then Summit and Rumson, give Rumson credit, bring on the big boys. So Murphy and Davidson and the guys come down, but Summit, in a game with field goals, has one more.
7 wins, 1 loss. I have to admit, nice job. But it ain't perfect.
Either was your presentation of the cake yesterday, buddy, and that faux pas was a heck of a lot worse than Connor Mackey, my new enemy, the game winner. If Mackey doesn't score and they go to overtime, maybe we go perfect. 7-1. Uh-oh. Mr. Lax is back. Whew. I am sweating up a storm. Maybe the fever's getting out of me. We're going to go cold here before we start up. A little water. Hang on 1 second. Okay. I have not picked St. Anthony's to win a game all year. I've only picked them once. I picked them to lose against New Canaan. And I heard from Big Bad Keith Weiserick with a text. Put a face on that quick. You don't scare me, Weiserick. Let's get it on. Here we go. Well, it's very simple. When you go over there to Mineola and you wear black and gold, you lose. You lose. The last time St. Anthony's has gotten on that little yellow school bus and driven over to Mineola, go down Jericho, bam, the last time they won, there was a cat named Tommy Schreiber. He was a sophomore, and they won that game in overtime, 9-8. Guess who's back on Long Island this weekend? Maybe he'll be over in Mineola. In case you don't know, Princeton is playing Cornell in a college lacrosse game at Bethpage High School on Saturday. Uh-oh, not good for Chaminade. Schreiber's back. Forget about the fact they can't win at Chaminade. They can't win, period, against Chaminade. They played 3 games last year against their arch rivals. Lost in the regular season. Lost in the regular season. Lost in the championship. Uh-oh. After winning 4 consecutive titles, what has happened to Weiserick's guys? And then we all wrote them off at the beginning of the year. 0-2, get a new coach in there. What's wrong with Big Keith? Uh-oh. There's nothing wrong with the big fella. Matter of fact, he's got it rolling. Did you see what they did to Don Bosco the other day? 16-1. Did you see what they did to Haverford before that? Did you see what they did to New Canaan? Doesn't matter. This is Chaminade. And this is how you're graded when you're at St. Anthony's. And like at Chaminade, you're graded what you do against St. Anthony's. Question in this game. 1, will I see it? Or will I be in some hospital in Norwalk, Connecticut? What is Jack Moran going to do in the goal? In that squeak-out victory, 14-13 against a very good Iona Prep team, and can we please put him in the AAA playoffs? Cerrone's goal with 6 seconds left, one of 4 goals he had in the game, ekes out the victory. Split goalies in that game, Moran did. Mattis Nardi and Ryan McLaughlin. McLaughlin made a huge save late in that game to allow Cerrone to be the hero. Jack Kincannon, after a slow start for Weiserick, has been terrific between the pipes. Hoster's getting a dandy of a goalie. Lusardi, Caputo, Galligan, Laviano, healthy and playing well. Regan McDuffie. Where do you want to go? Jack Ty, Owen Rogers. These guys all know each other. They play each other during the summer, but the thing I like about this game, they don't like each other when they play. I mean, Cerrone and Galligan are best friends. Not on this day. They don't like each other. They lost all 3 last year. They have not won there since Tommy Schreiber, what's that, 07? Was a sophomore. They've lost 8 of the last 9 at Chaminade. This may not sit well with fans of St. Anthony's. Put a face on the Friars! I don't care what they're saying over there on Wolf Hill Road. I like this team. I love Greenwich, Connecticut. Love them. Hey, listen, they shoot a lot, they score a lot, but now we know, we saw it in the Ridgefield game, 4 overtime game. Both these guys survive in advance, and we saw it Tuesday against Staples. Foote and Curran hook it up again at the end of that game, get a little insurance. They beat the Staples Wreckers 5-3 in 7 innings. It is time for Greenwich to step up. It's time. This team is built to win, and they're built to win now. Let's start on the back and work forward. Usually when we do this thing, we go offense to defense. No. Yeah, I love their offense, but I love their defense. This kid Rogan, Tommy Rogan, the junior goalie, terrific. Cole Perry, Jackie Nails, the tough guy going to Holy Cross, who has a handshake like a vice. And Jack Harrington going to Duke. Oh, face-offs. Michael Sullivan's got his mojo. We talked about Curran, Foote going to Loyola, my man Jamie Paradise, Luke Finneran, Bobby Guggen, Ryan Flippin. I mean, both these guys have got it all. They just don't have a win against Prep. The Jesuits have beaten Greenwich 4 consecutive times, including last year, 7-6. And that does not sit well in Cardinal country. Hey, listen, Fairfield Prep began the year, and I think I rated them a little too high in our first poll. I had the Jesuits at 4, way too high. Go to Duxbury, Massachusetts, neutral site game, lose to a team from Massachusetts. Good program, but still, you know, Massachusetts lacrosse ain't Connecticut lacrosse. You can't lose that game, small guys. They lost 9-6. They have not been tested in the state of Connecticut. Big week for the Jesuits. Greenwich on Thursday up at Fairfield U. I am so excited to go there because the Chaminade St. Anthony game is at 1 o'clock, and I'm going to race up to Fairfield U to watch the Greenwich Fairfield Prep game. Fairfield Prep better not be looking past Greenwich to the Big Del Barton game in Morristown, New Jersey on Saturday. If they do, they will lose. I do not think Fairfield Prep will be looking ahead, so put a face on the Cardinals anyway. This is Greenwich's year. I like this Greenwich team a lot. The FCAC is very, very good. In our poll, Darien at 6, New Canaan at 7, Greenwich at 8, Ridgefield at 9, Fairfield Prep at 17. That means 25%. I didn't need Stack and Butler to get on their little calculators and tell me that. That 25% of the poll is from the Nutmeg State. Very interesting. This New Canaan game, their only loss, as we said, to St. Anthony's. They are 5-1, hosting Ridgefield today. Let's get it on. Hosting Ridgewood, sorry. They have played, this will be the 3rd time they played. Alex Witten got it started 2 years ago. Buzzio came in, continued the tradition, and they should keep the tradition with Coach Pounds forever. Very similar type schools, very similar neighborhoods, very similar communities. Play the game. Always play the game. Last year they played the game. I picked Ridgewood. New Canaan won 6-5. And I heard it from the people up in Rams country. I'm a little mystified by Ridgewood. They have 2 quality losses. Bergen Catholic got blown out. We're not going to say that's not a good loss. The way they lost. And they lost to Mountain Lakes when the Cooch got the overtime game winner. Cannot figure out the loss to Glen Ridge. Mystifying. In the 5 wins New Canaan High School has had this year, they're averaging 17 goals per game. In their 1 loss, they scored 5 against the Friars. We told you that Buzzio, has a whole bunch of kids back. He's got so many guys back, it's incredible. One of them is Teddy Nader, the goalie, who has been spectacular this year. Even in the loss to St. Anthony's, he was great. The senior in that game had 19 saves. We knew about Harry Stanton. We knew about Bossity. We knew about Turpin. Who's this guy, Justin Meichner, who told St. Anthony, hey, gear up because I'm bringing it. He was great in that game. Didn't have enough, but he brought him back in the game when they fell behind 3-0. He was really good. I just think in the short history between these two schools that it once again will go to the Rams. Put a face on New Canaan. Ooh, I sounded like Bobby Brady there. Wow. Woo, going to the hot stuff now. Okay, we don't do this a lot, but on back-to-back picks, we're going to have the same school involved. Ridgewood. Somerville is unbeaten. They are the surprise team in the state of New Jersey now. Why? Because Gilman-Eaton's squad had that big upset victory against Ridge earlier this year, 6-5 on April 7th. All of a sudden, the state said, uh-oh, who are these cats? Of their 7 wins, 3 have come by 1 goal. A little worried about that. But before we break this thing down, kudos to what Coach Eaton has done. These guys showed up there in 2010, went 7-9 his first year. If you go back 9 years ago, this team won 1 game. There was no culture of lacrosse in Somerville. He has built this thing. So his first year 7-10, next year 14-4, year after that 18-2, last year 18-3. And 2 of those 3 losses last year came at the hands of Ridge. Uh-oh, that's right, who went on to win the TOC championship. This team has arrived. And they've got Logan LeBlanc, who you saw against New Prague, is a fun kid. Holy Cross getting a nice one. Brian Rogers, fun guy to watch play. I like what Eaton is doing here because he's saying in order to win that final game, we got to play established programs. And that's what he's doing. Ridgewood is one of the legendary programs in the state of New Jersey. It's 7-0 Somerville, one of the few unbeaten teams left in the Garden State, against 6-3. Ridgewood. The Glen Ridge loss, I told you, puzzling. Andrew Sider, Owen Smith, Matty Donovan. That cannot sit well with them. I don't want to say Ridgewood needs this victory to put themselves back on the map, but it would go a long way. For Somerville, if they could beat Ridgewood, even at 6-3, this is another eye-opener. Cover your eyes, Ridgewood. Put a face on the Maroons. We're staying with Ridgewood to give Somerville their first loss of the year. Out on Long Island. Woo. My man, Scotty Craig. Uh-oh. Don't write big bad Scotty Craig and the Lions off. We had a little conversation after their 8-6 loss to Chaminade, which seems like ages ago. And when they lost that game that day, one of the legendary programs in the history of the sport of lacrosse, not in Suffolk, not in Long Island, not in the tri-state, in America, fell to 1-4. Uh-oh, what happened? All of a sudden, little holiday break, beat Penfield from upstate New York. Good program. That mojo has continued now. Are they running people out of the barn? No. But last time I checked is if you have one more goal, you got to win. Let's get it on. And the Lions have 5 wins in a row. Here's what I like about this game. You've got a couple of programs that enter this game on 5-game win streaks. Pivotal game when it comes to seeding. Suffolk A, aside from Smithtown West right now, who knows? Who knows? Melville losing yesterday to Smithtown West. Smithtown East losing to my guys from Sachem North. The superintendent of schools, Nolan, retweeting stuff I was saying about Sachem North. Is there anybody better than Nolan? I love him. Enough about Sachem North. This is about Hills West and West Islip. And this is amazing to me. Only the 4th time in 10 years these two schools have played. And the Lions, as you can imagine, have won all 3. Hills West, you think about them with what Materatona does with the basketball team. A couple years ago, football team is always there. But when they beat Northport this year, 8-5, you got thinking, wait a minute, could there be another cat in the A race in Suffolk? There is. Eric Mikulinich, the goalie for Hills West, has been nothing short of sensational this year. Going to St. John's next year, very good. Very good. Trevor Bovich, Connor Smith are finding their way. This is what Craig told me. Our guys, we had a very tough schedule to start the year, but now they're buying in. They're starting to figure it out, and those two guys have. And Mike Monahan, well, listen, kid's a gamer. Yesterday against Northport with 11 seconds left, or on Tuesday, against Northport, 11 seconds left, bam, go home. Well, they had to play the final 11 seconds, and then everybody went home. 8-7. He is very good. 1-4 to start the year, 6-4 now. Both teams on 5-game winning streaks. Make it 6 for the Lions. Put a face on Craig's kids. That one hurt. Woo! Stay on Long Island. Hop Hog and Smithtown West. I'm worried about Hop Hog. This isn't good either because we're doing this game on Friday. Hop Hog 7-3. They've lost 3 of their last 5. Okay, they were right there with Ward Melvin. They were leading that game late in the third, early in the fourth. They ended up losing 10-8. Sachem North, we told you about these Flaming Arrows. They're on fire. They lost that game. Hop Hog lost the game to North 12-4. And Tuesday, they lost to Hills East 10-5. That worries me. You know what's amazing is that since Smithtown split and they became East and West in 2006, West has only played Hop Hog. This will be only the 3rd time they've ever played. And it may be the last. Next year, Hop Hog falling down to the B division again. Oh boy. Last year, Hop Hog lost the game 12-4. The goalie, Donnarumma, has been very, very good. But my guys, Zelen, Naraki, Cicerano, they've got to start scoring again. They can't leave the goalkeeper there trying to play a single-digit game. They got to score. And when you look at Smithtown West, our number 1 team, who is 10-0, you kind of say, let's talk about their offense. And you got Keenan going to Penn State, Ryan scoring a whole bunch of goals, getting a whole bunch of assists, Christian Zawadski going to Maryland. Very good players. This team wins with defense. Do not get caught up in the fact that they have some flamethrowers on offense. They win with defense. Let's start in the goal. Matty Schmidt, going to Ohio State, has played an unbelievable year for Moltisanti. And Logan Greco. Guy's a stud. Just goes back there, makes it very difficult for offenses to get into a mojo. And that's what he will do on Friday. Put a face on the Big Bad Bulls, whose defense has allowed just 4 goals per game on average. Somebody's out of the poll next week, and I don't need Raph to help me with that. When your number 20 and your number 19 teams play, you lose, you're looking up because you're out trying to get back in. That's why this game is a big one. Win, stay in. Let's get it on! Rocky Point, number 20, at Huntington, number 19. And this does not sit well for Mike Bowler. The very good coach for Rocky Point, they do not win when they go to Huntington. Matter of fact, the last time they have won at Huntington was in 2008, and that was the year that Rocky Point won the state title. They won that game 17-4. It is very strange to me that it seems Rocky Point goes to Huntington all the time. I don't know who's making the schedules out there, but you got to get Rocky Point at home against Huntington. They played there last year. They lost 8-1. They're going back this year. Uh-oh. Not good. Not good. But the one thing that you really have to like about what Coach has done, 6-10 last year, they already this year have more wins in just a little over half the season they had all of last year. And the victory against Smithtown East, their second game of the year, put everybody on high alert that this could be a good year, and it has been a good year. The only hiccup against Babylon, but Babylon's a sneaky good team. They are, and that's who Huntington played yesterday. Huntington is just one of 3 unbeaten teams left on Long Island. Smithtown West, Chaminade, the other 2. When you have a goalie like Patty Dallin, you're going to be good. And that's why Rocky Point has been good. Their defense has been good, and Patty Boy, he's the guy that gets it started in the net. But I'm a little worried about Rocky Point. The 9-8 loss to Babylon, and then they beat Shoreham-Wading River 12-11 in overtime. They are the preseason number 10 seed. So have they already exceeded expectations? Hold on. Exceeded expectations? No, they haven't. For Huntington, I mean, it blows my mind to think Huntington was a preseason 6. Paulie McDermott's guys are about to enter a big stretch, and they have big players to help them. Benny Kosis, Billy Martin, Christian Fiordalisi. Rocky Point is good. Huntington, a little better. Put a face on Paulie's kids. I was going to, when I left here yesterday, pick the Yorktown Chaminade game. And then what Sachem North did yesterday to Smithtown East, I came in, I told Russ, I told Stack, let's flip it. Let's stay Hudson Valley, Long Island, but let's flip the teams. And that's what we've done. And that's why we have Bronxville and Sachem North. Both teams 6-3. There is absolutely no history between these 2 teams. It'll be played at a neutral site. Sachem North has won 3 in a row. 3 very, very good victories. Northport, Hauppauge, Smithtown East on Tuesday, 12-8. Jay Morrow has got to make sure that his flaming arrows don't look past this Bronxville team and to the Ward Melville game early next week. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. Bronxville knows about Long Island when it comes to the postseason, except for this year. You've heard me go on and on the Hudson Valley shows, how much respect I have for Coach Tim Horgan from Bronxville. When he took over in 2008, his first year, he was 1-8. Same record in 09. Listen. In 2010, 15-4. In 11, 21-2. In 12, 20-2. Both of those years, their season ended in the state semifinal, losing to Long Island schools. Last year, it lost in the state final after they beat Shoreham-Wading River in the semifinals, 22-2. What Coach Tim has done is said, in order to get that championship, we got to play teams from Long Island. And they've already played Big Bad Garden City, and they held Garden City to just 4 goals. Problem is, they only scored 2. Since that loss 4 games ago, they have averaged 16 goals per game, and they beat Mamaroneck on Tuesday, 15-3. Now listen, Mamaroneck is not Sachem North. Sachem North is a better program than Mamaroneck, and Jimmy Hoffman knows that. Joey Caridi, he knows it. He's a high-flying scorer, and here's what gets me excited about this game. When you bring the football mojo of Sachem North, and remember, during the season, we wrote Falco's guys off, except Cavallo. And then he backed out of speaking at the banquet. Bragaglia, crossover guy, playing some football. So he's got that toughness. And all of a sudden, Sachem North, after April 9th and 11th, when they lost to Hills East, and okay, they lost to Smithtown West, kind of forgot about him. Now we don't forget about him after what they've done the last 3 games, especially on Tuesday. We have not forgotten about you, Coach Jay. We just ain't picking you. Put a face on Bronxville. Oh no! I have a superintendent of schools upset with me now. Oh, I'm sorry, Knowles. I still love you. Oh boy, I'll tell you what. These people on Twitter yesterday from Sachem North were so into it too. I guess I'm gonna lose some followers. Who cares? I love you, Sachem North. I gotta get highlights of that game somehow, because it's not on this. There you go. Ridge, trying to figure these guys out. Lost to Immaculata. But remember, last year they lost back-to-back games. They went on to win the Tournament of Champions. They've lost back-to-back games now. Let's see if they can flip it. Fairfield Prep, Del Barton, good game, ranked teams. Yorktown against Chaminade, very good game Saturday, ranked teams. Mount Sinai, Shoreham, Wading River, a Lax Out Cancer Day, great cause, great cause. And then the game that the guys will be doing, Friday, Hauppauge, can they get off the schneid against the #1 Bulls and that great defense, Matty Schmidt, Greco and the boys, those tough cats from Montasante. And you can watch that game also on TV, Sunday morning at 9 if you can't catch it live on the internet. Well, that'll do it. 4-3 the first week, 7-1 this week. Could you imagine next week? See you, everybody.